Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. I hope you are well. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and for sharing my videos. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful dress. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get notified each time I make a new video. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share with your loved ones. So for this video, I'll be using these measurements and these materials. Make sure you watch to the end to find out how this beautiful dress was made. I'll be using a scuba fabric, which is 1 meter and 2 meters of voile fabric. I have folded my fabric into 4 equal parts and I've marked out my vertical dimensions. For my shoulder, I've added ½ inch for seam allowance, and I've also marked out 1 inch for my shoulder slope. For my armhole curve, I've measured 9½ inches. Then for my half length, I've measured 17 inches and marked it. I've also measured and marked my shoulder to hip line. So this is my hip line measurement, which is 26 inches. Then the full length of the dress is 40 inches. I've measured and marked that out, and I've added 1 inch for hemming allowance. Now I'll impute my armhole and neckline. To create my armhole, I've measured my shoulder, which is 16 inches. I've divided it by 2 and I got 8 inches. I've added 1/4 inch for my seam allowance. Then I connect the lines, but before then I've marked out my neckline as well, as I'll be using a v-neck. I've measured 3½ inches for the wideness of my neck, and I've also measured 7 inches for the depth of my neck, and I've used my French curve to connect these to form my v-neck. Then for my bust measurement, my bust measures 40 inches. I've divided that into 4, which gives me 10 inches. And I've added ½ inch for seam allowance, as this fabric is a stretch jersey, so I wouldn't need much seam allowance. So I've just added ½ inch, and that's 10½. Then for my waistline, my waist measures 37, and I've divided 37 into 4, which is 9¼ So I've marked 9¼ here, and I've added ½ inch for my seam allowance as well. Then for my hip measurement, my hip measures 44. I've divided 44 into 4, then I got 11 inches. So I've added ½ inch for my seam allowance, and that brings it to 11½ inches. So I've marked it here. Then I'll connect these lines. So by the edge of my dress, where I will hem at the full length, I've measured 2 inches inwards so that it will create a curve from my hip line to the length of the dress. So I've marked that out and I've connected with my French curve. For my back neckline, I've measured 1½ inch depth, and I'll connect that with my French curve. That will be for my back neckline. Now I'll cut out my dress. I have folded my royal blue voile fabric into 4, just as I would fold a round flare, and this is the midpoint where the 4 folded edges meet. So using my dress as a template, I have placed it on the folded edge of my voile fabric, and I've marked out the neckline, leaving ½ inch for my seam allowance up here. Then for my back neckline as well, I've used my back pattern to mark that out here, also leaving my ½ inch seam allowance on the neckline. Then I have measured from the midpoint as well towards the arm of my dress. I've measured 27 inches and marked that out. Then coming towards my hip line, I've measured 34 inches and marked it there. As I go down a bit, I've measured 40 inches, and that way I've measured 43 inches. So what I basically did was I kept increasing the length as I go downwards to create the shape I want. And I've joined the lines for the measurements I did like this to the shoulder. Now I'll cut that out. So I've taken off my template and I've marked out my neckline. But before I cut this out, I'll measure from my shoulder, which is this point, towards the sleeve. I'll measure 5 inches. This will be for my armhole. Then I'll derive the middle of this 5 inches, which is 2.5. I'll mark it here. So from my 2.5, I will measure 2.5 inches all round. Then I'll connect the lines. So to cut this out, first I'll cut the back neckline. Next I'll cut my armhole. This circumference depends on the circumference of your armhole. So for this, it's perfect for me as my armhole circumference is 17 inches. But you can make yours wider. I will spread this like this. I'll hold this part and open it up before cutting my front neckline. And this is what it will look like when I've cut out everything. You can see. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can decide to use a bias binding to hem up this opening, that's the armhole. I have placed another piece of fabric on my armhole and I'm cutting this out. Next I will cut it out by 2 inches and go around it. This will be for the hemming of my armhole or for the lining. So I got something like this. So I'll use this to cut another one to make them 2. Here I have the lining for my 2 armhole. After hemming it, I will spread out my upper dress. Then facing the right side up, I'll place the round lining part I cut out on the upper part. I'll adjust it properly with the right side facing each other. I'll pin them in place. Then I'll sew around here. After sewing around the armhole, I'll use my scissors to make notches, to make some notches all around the hole. Then I'll flip this over to the wrong side and use my hemming tape to iron it in place. After joining up the shoulders of my inner piece, I will spread the outer part of my top on a table, revealing the neckline. So I'll make sure the right side is facing up and the wrong side facing down. I'll place the inner piece on this outer one. So I'll spread out the neckline where I stitched up the armhole and pin this up to the joining of my shoulder on the outer piece. Then I'll pin this up and I'll also pin it on this side as well. So I'll sew around it. I'll stitch up the side seams for the both sides of my dress. After which I'll now hem my armhole and hem the dress. So lastly, I'll flip my dress over and my dress is ready. This is the outcome of my beautiful dress. One thing I like so much about this dress is the fact that I can style it in different ways. I can wear it different styles. It's one dress and has so many styles in it. I hope you had fun watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel before leaving, and don't forget as well to share with your friends. You can tag me on Instagram or Facebook when you make yours. Let me know how yours came out. See you in my next video. Bye.
you.